Alright, X-Last is already ready for his pushback. Well, we're a little ways from that, but a little rainy here. We're gonna kind of... I'm wondering if that's you in the twin prop. Seems like a strange plane of view there. So we're at the main terminal, and you got the satellite one over there. We're going to be flying in the Airbus A320 in the Chrome, and I forgot to change a few settings here. Again, I wish the sim would hold these settings, but it doesn't. By VSync, and I like to turn off the motion blur. I don't know why it won't hold on to this. Alright, so let's get the... Alright, let's get in the plane. It's been a while. Again, well, it's been about a couple weeks now since I've flown this, but let's get it going. So we are at Zurich Airport in Zurich, Switzerland. We'll be flying up to London Heathrow. This is leg 156 of the world tour. We're just setting up, going back to London to set up to a flight, round-trip flight down to Gibraltar, and then we'll be heading on to Dublin and knocking Ireland off our list as well pretty soon. This is Swiss flight 332, flown on the Airbus A320. We're using Flybywire's A32NX mod. And we got Alpha Indy Group's traffic. This is a Swiss Chrome A320 livery. There's a link for it. You can find it on flightsim.to as well. I believe there's... basically the logo is Chrome, I think. I'm not sure what else is. Alright, so here let's do our quick checks. Remember how my... there we go. So parking brake is set. Where can I put this checklist that's on the way? Parking brake set, spoilers retracted, flaps in the 0 position, ignition normal, engine masters are in the off position, throttle is idle. Let's see, flaps retracted, anti-skid. Turn up the displays. I like to just get these brightnesses before I turn everything on. Alright, landing gear down, anti-skid on, and the wipers are right now off. We're going to go battery master 1 and 2. Turn on the fly pad. Import our sim brief data. It looks like you just already imported it. Let's see. We do have the door. We do have the jet bridge. Call for the ground power unit. Cargo door, baggage truck. Do the jet bridge like that. Oops. Off that jet bridge. We're going to go back over here. We're going to look at our fuel. We need 6,174 for fuel, so we're going to start doing that. 6,174. We're going to go 6,250. Load that up. See me in the distance? Yeah, I guess I'm on the other side. I'm at gate A13 right now, Alpha 13. Okay, let's keep going. So we got the battery on. Turn on external power. Strobe lights set to auto. The deers. Line them 1, 2, and 3. APU engine fire tests. Alright, seatbelt signs, we'll keep those off right now, but we'll do the no smoking auto. Emergency lights armed. And I'm going to go right down here. Predictive wind shear, I'll turn that on right now. Cockpit door, not yet. Start up our screens. Turn up all the screens for us. Get the first officer there right now. See menu. Let's get our weights and balances. We'll get our passengers coming on board and cargo as well. We'll send a request, and we'll start the boarding process. Also going to start up Pack X, and I might have music for Swiss, so we'll have to go over here and turn off the music. Playing with the plane.
Zurich ground, Iberia tree 477, requesting the end of pushback. Iberia tree 477 request to end pushback received. Zurich ground, Iberia tree 477 with Quebec ready to taxi IFR. Iberia tree 477 taxi to and hold short of runway tree 2 using taxiway cross runway 28. Contact tower on 120.2 tree when ready.
Alright, we got today 100 and...
Hold short runway tree 2
takes so long. For some reason, Adobe Acrobat's just so slow with PDFs. 153 passengers. Alright, so we do have boarding music for the Swiss, so we're gonna go into settings, realism. Now we just got repeating music. Boarding music, turn that off. You have to grab everything. Alright. Is it nice? Okay, so we do have the passengers coming on. Brandon Hicks, thanks for the subscription over there on YouTube. Thank you. Alright, so we can call ATC now and get our clearance. See, again, why can't I get VFR clearance? Or IFR clearance? Because they're not going to give me VFR clearance. So I guess we'll just It's so funny when it's not raining and I'm in a smaller plane. Oh, you want IFR clearance? Oh, I guess they're gonna give us. We're gonna request this. Oh, there it is. Was that there before? Don't pull my microphone out.
Taxi to and hold short runway tree 2 using taxiway cross runway 28 Swiss tree 2.
Alright, we'll put our initial at 10,000. Set our barometer. Alright, so let's get into the flight computer. We're gonna go right here, knit page 1. We're going from Zurich to London Heathrow. Can you not pull on that, please? Oh my goodness. Alternate today is Echo Golf Charlie Charlie, which is Manchester. Flight number 332. Cost index. Here. Alright, cost index of 5. Stop. What are you gonna talk? Missing some stuff. Okay, I'm gonna put you down here so you can play with
items in the overhead bin and it is full. Make sure you close it as a courtesy to other passengers. Also be sure that the aisle is clear and sit down so that way other passengers can
Alright. So we got cost index of 5. Cruising today is going to be 380, 38,000 feet. We're going to go to our flight plan. And our departure, we're going to be taking off from runway 32. And we're going to be taking VBIT 4 North, or 4 November, right there. Insert. And for VBIT, we're going to take Airway Tango 5-1 to Lesson. From there, we're going to take Tango 1-4. He's obsessed. He's obsessed. What's the problem?
Zurich ground, Swiss 2576, requesting the end of pushback. Swiss 2576 request to end pushback received.
And to Lummel, and then we're going to take Tango 10 to Torpa.
Zurich ground, Swiss 2576, with Quebec ready to taxi.
Then we're going to take Uniform Tango 10. So these are airways, got multiple waypoints on them. Take that to the VOR Romeo Lima Papa. Take Uniform Lima 613. Take that to Khotan.
Taxi to and hold short runway tree 2 using taxiway Swiss 2576.
We're going to insert that. You see all the, not a ton of Doesn't really save us a ton of time putting in the airways, really. But back into Khotan. Oh, don't need to go back there because we're going to go direct. So from Khotan, direct to Abner. Abner, we're going to take Uniform Tango 10 again, 10. Take that to Ailso, or Ailso. Insert, and then our final, which we'll put in right now, just so it's in there, and then if we have to change it, we'll change it. We're going to take ILS 27 left. Ailso 1 Hotel. And via Bravo India Golf Big. Insert. So there's our whole flight plan. No discontinuities. So ready to go on that page. Now what? Oh, fun.
We're on your time now.
Go up here, we're going to start the APU.
Swiss 2114 request to end pushback received. Zurich ground, Swiss 2114 with Quebec ready to taxi IFR. Swiss 2114 taxi to and hold short of runway tree 2 using taxiway cross runway 28. Contact tower on 120.2 tree when ready. Taxiing hold short runway tree 2 using taxiway cross runway 28 Swiss 2114.
APU bleed on. Seatbelt signs on. Nav logo light on. Alright, so now we can set up a net page 2. Get the microphone in a better position. And we're going to bring up the performance calculator from SimSmart. And we want our takeoff weight We're gonna get our center of gravity. Our fuel is 6.2. Takeoff weight is going to be 64.8 tons. Center of gravity is going to be forward. It's less than 27%. Flex takeoff. Conf 1 plus F. And air conditioning, we'll just keep that on. Let's calculate. Put in the wind. It's going to be headwind of 15 knots. And our speeds. That's going to be on the performance page here. 138, 146, 147. Transition altitude 7,000 feet.
Swiss 211 for hold position. Caution the EMB 190 on the taxiway.
Thrust reduction and engine out 2402. Flex takeoff temperature 67 degrees. Flaps 1.
Roger, Swiss 2114.
Alright, so we are ready for pushback. We're going to turn off the external power. Go in here to, I believe, yeah, ground power unit gone. Jet bridge can go.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard Flight 332 with service to London Heathrow. Our flight time will be roughly 1 hour and 30 minutes. Please note the cabin door is now closed. We ask that you make sure that all devices are in airplane mode and your larger devices are now
I hope I can get rid of these.
If you have not already, please fasten your seatbelt and verify it is
Swiss
well and tight across
1348
your lap.
requesting
The
pushback.
table to seatback must be in a full upright and locked
Swiss
position for departure.
1348 pushback request accepted.
Okay, I do have. Turn that off for now, so when I do the pushback it doesn't. Why can't I get rid of the wheel chocks? That's not good. Why is it not letting me get rid of those? I don't like that. Don't need this anymore. Okay. So we are ready for pushback. Let's check which way I want to push back here. On runway 32.
Zurich ground, Swiss 1348 requesting.
So we're going to push back to our right.
Swiss 1348 request to end.
Waiting at taxiway, alright. Well, I think. Just want to do
Zurich
something
ground,
really
Swiss
quick.
1348 with Quebec ready to taxi IFR. Swiss 1348 taxi to and hold short of runway 32 via taxiway. Contact tower on 120.2 tree when ready. Zurich ground Edelweiss 1405 request taxi to the gate. Edelweiss 1405 taxi to gate Bravo Tree 2 using taxiway cross runway 10. Taxiing hold short runway Tree 2 via taxiway Swiss 1348. Taxiing to gate Bravo Tree 2 using taxiway cross runway 10 Edelweiss 1405.
Alright. So let's see if we can get this pushback going. Beacon light on. And Alright, APU is going. There we go. So we can do pushback. See, I don't really like to use this one. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn that off. We're gonna try to use this one, pushback planner. See, I can never get the plan. Oh, there we go. Let's see if I can do this one. Then I can focus on starting the engines and everything. See, I kind of get stuck on this loading screen. It was raining more from. It was raining before for me, but now, yeah, it's kind of gone away. Why can't I do the pre-plan here? There we go. Oh. Did I just press enter on this? I can't remember. I think I press enter and that locks it in. Okay.
Edelweiss 1405, hold position. Caution the Airbus A320 on the taxiway.
Ugh, pushback helper just doesn't work for me.
1405,
Hey!
continue taxi.
Oh, it's drying? Yeah, I'm kinda... Alright, well, I tried to pre-plan it. Hey, Oliver, need someone to talk to, just tired of life.
Roger, Edelweiss 1405.
Alright, well, feel free to talk here. We're gonna start pushing back and... You go for it. Alright, here we go. So, we are off. Got the tug. Coming over. Actually, it's starting to rain again for me. It was, had dropped off for a while there. Still gonna be a wet runway either way. So we have the tug, and we're going to go in reverse.
May we have your attention, please, for the following presentation about safety on board. Your hand luggage must be placed in the overhead bin or under the seat in front of you.
Starting engine
It's
2.
forbidden to place hand luggage in front of the bulkhead seats or the emergency exits. For safety reasons, the use of any electronic devices is prohibited during taxiing, takeoff, and landing. Personal electronic equipment, such as telephone and wireless transmission devices, not be used at any time during the flight. Please fasten your seatbelt now as you're sitting on.
Yeah, that's tough when you don't even have family to talk to about it on things.
Until the aircraft comes to a full stop after landing. Whenever the fasten seatbelt sign is on, the use of the lavatories is not permitted. For takeoff and landing, make sure that the back of your seat is in a fully upright position and that your tables are folded away. Secure infants with the infant's belt, which will be distributed by your flight attendant if needed. This is a non-smoking flight. Smoking is not permitted at any time on board. Smoking in the lavatories is dangerous and will activate a smoke alarm. If cabin pressure is lost,
Starting engine one.
masks will be released automatically. Pull the mask towards your face and cover your nose and mouth. Then help children and other passengers. In case of impact on land or water, position yourself as shown on the screen. You may use either position. To evacuate the aircraft, follow the illuminated escape path markings. The emergency exits are identified by exit signs and are located as shown on the screen and the safety on board card.
Well, you gotta find the thing that makes you happy. You just gotta find the, you know, the hobby or whatever it is.
Remove the armrest.
You know, even a job can do that.
Pull the life jacket over your head and attach the strap. Do not inflate your life jacket until you leave the aircraft. Pull the strap until the life jacket is properly adjusted. If the life jacket does not inflate or needs more air, blow through the rubber tube. Infant life jackets will be distributed if required. In case of emergency on water, the evacuation slides will serve as rafts. The safety on board card shows the various procedures and the use and location of the safety equipment. Please
Alright, we got
follow the
both
card
engines.
carefully. In an emergency, you must follow the orders given by the crew.
Yeah, it's hopefully it's just a phase.
Thank you
You know,
for
just
your attention.
keep your head up and, like I said, you know, find the things that pass the time and, you know, work on, you know, hopefully working on different things you can do, what you can take care of, and
En cas d'urgence, vous devez suivre les instructions de l'équipage. Nous vous remercions de votre attention. Per ulteriori informazioni, la preghiamo di contattare il personale di cabina. In caso di emergenza, è obbligatorio seguire le istruzioni dell'equipaggio. La ringraziamo per la sua attenzione.
alright, so we're gonna start taxiing here. I want to set my Pro window auto heat, or set to auto. We can actually turn off the APU. Turn on our taxi lights. Strobe still set to auto. Set flaps to 1. Arm the spoilers. Auto brakes to max. Weather radar, which is inoperable still on this plane, to on, and we can start the chronometer. And Frontier is going to back into us. Why is there a Frontier here? Is that one of you guys? Or that must be a multiplayer. And it's giving them that Frontier livery. It's the only problem with the multiplayer is that you get some random liveries. Yeah, don't worry, Oliver. I'll catch up on you in Kiwi's chat here. Just need to kind of focus on the taxi so I don't go running through a building. That's not what I wanted. Takeoff config test. Hopefully I'm not going to hit this other plane. Whew. Walk off into the grass. Yeah, did I miss something? What the heck? Where am I going? Oh, I should have turned at that taxiway. Oops. For some reason I thought this was... Alright, well I'm going to have to go the long way here now. Yep, I am going to 3-2. Everyone, thanks for coming in. I will... I'll catch up on the chats once we get up in the air and everything. Otherwise, I will miss the runway, as I just did. X-Last Kiwi, I just saw his message there. Yeah, we're currently going to runway 28, which is not where I want to go. I guess that was X-Last Kiwi in the Brussels. I'm guessing that was him. And we kind of passed by him. A little bit of a hump there. So there shouldn't be any traffic coming down 28. It's good. So we'll take Bravo and get back over. Yeah, we should have crossed at a taxiway Kilo where that plane, that Brussels, was sitting, and I'm assuming that was X-Last Kiwi. He was just waiting to go over there. There's our runway, all the lights. We have a few planes looking like they're lining up for it. I don't have the name tags on. Sorry about that. So I can't tell which planes are multiplayer, which planes are just the AI. I suppose if I have a couple planes taking off exactly the same time, it might be one multiplayer and AI doing it. Okay, so Brussels there is X-Last Kiwi, so we'll... I don't know if we're gonna go ahead of him or after him. Huh! That's kind of weird that's not showing British Airways. I mean, Brussels isn't the worst one to show for this airport. At least not showing like Frontier or Southwest or something, like that other multiplayer one. Yeah, I don't know why I can't get the matching. Multiplayer doesn't match as well. Alright, well, Oliver, take care. I mean, like I said, you know, you gotta control what you can control, and if your family's, you know, messing with you and it's just messing with your emotions, kind of just step away and, you know, read a book. Do something that you like to do, you know, or pick up a hobby. You're flying the Phoenix. So, yeah, I wonder if I don't have... Yeah, that's probably a big one because I'm guessing... I wonder if there's... I probably have to update... My Alpha India traffic is completely out of date, so my models are all... I don't have that extra model now, probably for the Phoenix. Or to match with the Phoenix. Hey, let's see, I can't really read the Russian, though, unfortunately, the Cyrillic. I'm gonna move into position. Tune Zurich Tower. And since we're actually already taxiing, we'll have co-pilot help.
Swiss 1250 contact Zurich departure on 125.955. Good day.
Zurich Tower, Swiss Tree 2 ready at runway Tree 2 departing straight out. Hold short runway Tree 2, Swiss Tree 2.
125.955 for Swiss 1250. Swiss 1884, QNH tree 0.151007 at 7. Cleared for takeoff runway tree 2. 121.855.
Is that 350? Is that one a freeware? I know there's a couple freewares that I'm... A yoke and rudder pedals. Yeah, what yoke and rudder pedals are you looking at? I'm not an expert on the yoke and rudder pedals, but I know the ones I hear about. I don't have a yoke, I only have the stick. I'd love to have a yoke. I do have rudder pedals and throttle, but nothing fancy, just like the basic Thrustmaster thing. Alright, we can line up and wait.
1407 Zurich Tower. QNH tree 0.151007 at 7. Cleared ILS runway 16.
Yeah, I've heard good things about... I've seen Turtle Beach
Line up.
I think I was just watching Air Force Proud. He was doing a Turtle Beach yoke promotion
Cleared ILS runway 16
giveaway.
approach, Swiss 1407. Swiss 1884, contact Zurich departure on 125.955.
Alright, lining up and wait. Get centered up here a little bit.
Going to 125.955, Swiss 1884. Swiss tree 2, QNH tree 0.15.007 at 7. Straight out departure approved. Cleared for takeoff runway tree 2.
Cleared for takeoff runway tree 2, Swiss tree 2.
Zurich Tower, Swiss 2824, ready for IFR departure runway tree 2. Swiss 2824.
I know there was one that I saw that they were talking about doing a 350 or free, or maybe that's the 310.
Cleared to land runway 16. Line up and wait, Swiss 2824.
Trying to do my keep centered up with the, but I'm using the
Cleared to land runway 16 Swiss 1407.
using the tiller.
Zurich Tower, Swiss 1270, ready for departure runway tree 2 IFR to Castro. Swiss 1270, hold short runway tree 2. Traffic is Airbus
Alright,
A320
positive rate, landing gear up.
Swiss 2824, QNH tree 0.151007 at 7. Cleared for takeoff runway tree 2.
Yeah, iOS culls. I have the Thrustmaster stick, the
Cleared for takeoff runway
throttle, and the pedals. I have no problem with the rudders. They get a little sticky, but I'm sure it's probably just because there's a ton of cat hair and dust and garbage that I haven't cleaned up over the last 3 years that I've had them or whatever. But I haven't had any problems with them. Nothing that just unplugging them and replugging them into the system doesn't fix. Can't speak for Turtle Beach yoke, but like I said, I've seen many streamers using it and haven't heard any too much negative about it. Alright, let's get autopilot on and make this turn. You see a little bit of rain over there. Get an outside shot. Again, those trees down there, those are all custom trees from a 4-season package. Payware, but really nice looking trees, and just swap in the current season and they look really good. See all the Christmas lights behind us. Okay. I was hoping we were gonna have another sim crash here. Alright. There's Zurich on the end of the lake, Odersee. And we'll go to standard for the pressure. Let's see if I can get a IFR clearance now. There it is.
Zurich approach Swiss tree 328 miles northwest of Zurich. Request IFR to Heathrow, ready to copy. Swiss tree 32 cleared to Heathrow Airport is filed. Squawk tree 661.
Sadly, we lost ATC.
Turn right heading tree 00, resume
It's
on
so
navigation
broken.
Climb and maintain 10,000 feet, Swiss tree 32.
So I am working on making sure. I think I updated my VATSIM client. I just need to just get into VATSIM and practice a few times. And I am looking at possibly getting Pilot's ATC, but I've heard that Pilot's ATC does talk to the AI traffic, but I might be wrong about that. It didn't seem like it does, and it's just talking to you. So,
Swiss Tree 32. Zurich
granted,
Center,
at this
Swiss
point,
332
with the broken
is passing
ATC,
9,700
because we're not even getting
feet,
all the other
climbing
messages,
10,000 feet.
it'll be a little bit quieter, but you're kind of missing out on what everyone else is doing. All the other AI traffic.
955 for Swiss Tree 32. Zurich departure, Swiss Tree 210,000 feet.
Required to see a small fee switch to action. We do offer complimentary in-flight seats thanks to our partners.
Actually, I want to put the anti-ice on,
Able to access a wide range of free light
because we are going through some rain, and of course the outside air temperature at this point, I think it's this one, still above freezing, but once we get a little higher.
The flight crew has turned off the fasten seatbelt sign. You can now get up and move around the cabin.
Obviously this weather is messing with the system, with my computer, a lot.
Swiss Tree 2 traffic in sight.
Can we get cleared to a higher altitude?
Zurich departure, Swiss Tree 2. Request flight level 200. Climb and maintain 16,000 feet. Expect flight level 200 Swiss Tree 2. Zurich departure, Swiss Tree 2. Request flight level 300.
Yeah, so the speed on the plane is now going down because we're hovering at that 10,000, and the plane will automatically go 250 knots when we're at 10,000 or lower. Alright, and get up to 38,000 feet.
Departure, Swiss Tree 2. Request flight level 380. Climb and maintain 16,000 feet. Expect flight level 380 Swiss Tree 2.
Alright, so let's see.
Going to 126.225 Swiss Tree 2. Zurich Center, Swiss Tree 2 is passing 10,300 feet, climbing 16,000 feet. Swiss Tree 2 have the traffic.
Yeah, the in-game ATC is just... I know it's terrible. That's unfortunately there's no good offline solution that I've found yet. Someone did suggest a pilot to ATC, but like reading on it, it doesn't seem like it interacts with the AI traffic, and so then it's just talking to you. And obviously it's a better, probably a more accurate, better system. The only thing I'm worried about is that I think Pilot's ATC is only set up for like the air rack cycle 1801 or something, which is from 2018. So really out of date. I don't know if that's just for the trial. Maybe it's for the trial, and once you buy it, it's got the full thing. Looks like we got a little nuclear power plant over there. And yeah, I know flightsim is the best solution if you want good,
Climb and maintain flight level 220 Swiss Tree 2.
not terrible ATC, but it's a little intimidating, and of course it only is useful if you're in a place where it's covered. And yep, currently there is center coverage over Switzerland, and there is coverage right now, tower and approach at Geneva. And there was, I think, a little earlier today at Zurich. So I could have, but like I said, it's like I'm so out of practice, and maybe once I get in my own place and can kind of get into it more. Where are you? Were you above me or below me? Are you way up there? Instant climb, yep. Yeah, you're definitely climbing. Well, like I said, it took me a while to get that clearance from 10,000. I had to request it. Oh well. I'm sure once I finish, like, the big thing, I'm so focused on just doing the world tour, but it's like, if I'm doing, at some point I'll start getting into VATSIM more and flying the flights in the areas where VATSIM does have coverage a little bit more. Like, it's always hit and miss if there's gonna be coverage where I'm flying, and like, now's the time of day where a lot of the coverage is gonna start popping up in the Western Hemisphere in the US. There's actually a bunch of area coverage over I think that's all the same coverage. Okay. That's why there's so much coverage. It's one person covering a whole bunch of area down in the Caribbean. I don't know if there's an event or what, but quite a few planes going between Puerto Rico and Cuba. Digital Flight Dynamics. Video is called Discover 350. Oh, I feel like I follow these guys on or at least I did for a second, maybe on. I have so many. I'm part of so many Discord groups, and it's a lot of them now are just those developers. There it is, Digital Flight Dynamics, yeah. So they're doing a 350. I thought they were doing something else that I was interested. That's why I was following them. I'm really interested to get my hands on an Embraer or something, because there's all these. Again, it's like obviously, if it's free, I think I'm at the point where I think I got clearance again. But I'm probably not going to buy too much more right now. Getting closing on the house, kind of got to figure out what the budget's going to be going forward. I was planning on getting the 737-800 because that's more the one I flew all the time, and it's more common than the 737-700. But now I'm thinking, it's like, is it really worth it since I already have the 700? I kind of want to pick up like the Twin Otter, because that'll be a good plane to use once I get over to the Caribbean. There's a lot of Twin Otter flights, a couple Cessna 208 flights, which are obviously, we do have the Cessna 208 as a default plane. So there's X-Last Kiwi. He's right in front of us. So yeah, if you guys want to join in on any of these flights, I think going forward I'll keep multiplayer on. I'm on the US East server. If enough of you guys do join in, we get a bigger group of people joining in on these flights. I'll turn those name tags on if you want, so we can see. I typically keep them off. I like to have the nice clean screenshots and everything, but obviously once there's quite a few people and it's a little bit harder to tell who's who. Like I said, when I can stream a little bit more, just get more on a regular schedule, or even pop in and do a stream after work in the evening.
125.55.
I'm guessing those streams will probably be more like just let's fly around in a smaller plane around to some city or down a river or something. know, these airline flights are a little bit bigger.
Going to 128 decimal tree.
Planning and getting all that stuff set up, whereas just hop in a small plane and go down a valley or something, point A to point B, check out the sights. So what do we got here? About an hour on this flight? Yep. Let's see, where exactly are we? Oh, okay. Yeah, so I'm flying right behind Excise Kiwi. He is currently British Airways Flight 715. He's flying the Phoenix A320. I'm flying the Flybywire. How are you liking the Phoenix? I haven't watched a ton of streams flying them or, you know, videos showing stuff off, but I've heard good things. Obviously, it's a little bit, I think, I've heard people say it's really good study level. And as I said, I just can't buy every plane. I can't justify it. Like, I already feel like I can't even justify buying the PMDG 737 really, because I just don't fly enough. But we have passed into France. We're going to be flying over France for the rest of this flight, for most of this flight, until we hit the channel. And then we'll be over England. About crossing flight level 290 on our way to 320, 32,000 feet. I've been wanting to fly so much lately, and it's always kind of like, ugh, do I want to set up the stream and do all the stuff, and, you know, do I have enough time that I'm not going to get interrupted? But yeah, once you start flying, it's so enjoyable. And even just jumping into it, like I said, jumping into a Cessna or whatever, and, you know, I kind of want to do more of that too. I think I started kind of a little bit of a tour flying up the what river? I think the Santa Fe River, Colorado River, something like that. And we're in New Mexico. You know, but you know, flying some of the rivers in the U.S. or something, doing lower level tours of that would be pretty cool. As I said, a little hard with working on buying a house, helping my wife practice for her road test, and, you know, obviously the baby, he's 6 months now, and he is just, he wants to crawl, he wants to do things. You got to keep much more of an eye on him. You can't just put him in, he doesn't sleep as much and stay in one place as much now. Alright, before we get... Great, the sun's coming in, so it's going to be pretty hard for me to do this. I want to create a fixed point. Typically, every time I do this, it ends up being about 100 kilometers out. This is pretty cool. They have the progress right there. But you can do this. Our current altitude, we're going to be at 38,000 feet. And here it's already telling us, start your descent at 119. What I want to check is my arrival chart. Here's the Heathrow. Let's see, is there any? Probably the star charts would be better. Let's see, max, minimum. Alright, so we get to the hold point right before going basically at a biggin, which is the VOR that we're transitioning to the approach. And max height there is 150, flight level 150, and minimum is 7,000. So we're going to target that 7,000. And yeah, it's about 100 nautical miles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in biggin as our fixed point. Back over to Flight Computer. Hit your last waypoint, left of it, fix info, put in your fixed point, Bravo India Golf, and that should bring it up. It's going to be this closer one for us. We're not taking too long of a flight. And I'm just going to put 100 nautical miles. And what that will do, I don't want to do direct to, that's going to give us a nice little dotted circle. And so about Abner is where we're going to want to start thinking about descending. Now ATC will probably tell us to descend, but if they don't, we can ask for a descent at that point. I'm just going to check on my flight plan, on the Simbrief flight plan, see where it starts descending. Abner, where are you? Yeah, basically in between Abner and Dimall, that's going to be the top of descent. Now this plane, currently we don't have a VNAV, so we do have to actually manually descend. Tell the plane to descend. Hey, Mine Lapse. Welcome in. Nice livery? Yeah, this is the Swiss Air. I believe it's Selcook Dick Glass made this, but this is a chrome version, so it's got that nice chrome cross there. He's also got a dirty version, which I typically use the dirty versions of the planes, but I was like, oh, this cool chrome one. Could you explain how to use the autopilot? When I enable autopilot, the plane turns to the direction of the runway I departed. Yeah, I don't know what your issue is there. You need to make sure you have your flight plan in. And that's going to be the big thing. Like on here, you're going to be able to see it. And if you have, like on this plane, this is the Airbus, the A320 Flybywire mod. Typically when you use the autopilot, you're just going to want both these buttons pushed in. It's going to give you a little dot. That means it's going off of your flight, you know, in the FMS where your flight plan, this little line is. And then you hit autopilot, put your altitude, also push that button in. It's going to give you that dot. And it should climb, and it should follow that line. The only reason it would return to your runway is if you don't have... basically, what you might be doing is you might have a heading in here, and you might be actually following the heading autopilot, which you'd be pressing this way, the down, or pulling, I think, pulling that button. But what you're going to do, and you can go back and towards the beginning of this video when I set up the FMC if you want to see how to do that manually, because that's how I always do it manually. I never set up my flights unless I'm in like one of the smaller planes, like a prop plane, propeller plane. I'll just put in some waypoints because I just want to do a quick flight. But if I do want to do a serious flight, I will put in everything in manually. That way I know it's in proper. Hey, thank you, Falco Fist of Fury, for hosting the stream. Nice raid of 8 viewers. Thank you very much. Welcome in. We are flying. I was just explaining the FMC and the autopilot. But right now we're over France. We're flying from Zurich, Switzerland, up to London Heathrow. Leg 156 of World Tour I'm doing, flying into every country and territory in the world. Lately we've been kind of not really flying to new places. We've been to Switzerland before, been to London multiple times now. Yeah, so I'll give you let's get an external look for the people that just joined us. Ooh, might be a little loud. Engine sounds weird. Oh, is someone right over me? There's X-Last Kiwi. Yeah, I just overtook him there. I was like, why is it so loud there? Oh man, I hate that. I hate that, Falco. I hate that when you come in, those ads come up. I think I'm just gonna, at some point, I'm gonna probably just turn off the ads. I think I have them set to auto right now because I think that's how you can get more of the ad revenue. But I think I'm gonna go back to controlling the ads. And because usually what I would do is I wouldn't run any ads pre-roll, and then I'll just, like if I'm doing an intermission to set up a next flight, I'll throw a bunch of ads on then. Because you're not really missing anything then, you're just missing the wait screen. Yeah, so I'll probably have to switch that back, because that sucks that you guys come in and then you get hit with the ads. I hate that too when I'm viewing. But thanks for sticking around through the ads, and thanks for the raid. It was a raid of 8. I don't know how many stick around, but people watching, it's always awesome to have a few new eyeballs to check it out and see if they like what they see. Yep, but we're flying. As I said, thanks for the follow. I'm gonna say Justin005. Thank you. Guessing you came over with the raid. Thank you very much. Yeah, so I just got to my cruise level, 38,000 feet. X-Last Kiwi, he's the Brussels airline behind us. He's actually British Airways, but my sim is showing him as Brussels for some reason. Flying Swiss Air. Got the little chrome livery, so basically the cross on the flag there is chrome. We're over France, flying from Zurich up to London Heathrow. Yeah, I went outside the plane to show our raiders here the livery and everything, and just as I was doing that, the engine sounded. I just got this really bad sound, and it was because you were literally right above me, probably 10 feet above my plane, or probably a little bit more than that, but both of our engines going at the same time was a little grating on the ears. So over France, let's see if I can get an exact location. Coming up on Chaumont, if any of you know where that is. And coming up on our, well, we just passed, I think, the VOR, Romeo Lima Papa. Oh, Mindlapse, thank you. Yeah, thank you for the sub over there on YouTube. Yeah, I have so many videos. I haven't done any, I don't think I've done a direct tutorial on how to do, but if you watch my flights, I'm always setting up the plane from scratch, so you'll pick it up pretty quick if you watch a few of those.
Paris Center, Swiss Tree 2, flight level 380.
I was flying from Seattle to Atlanta and cleaned my turtle tank. Yeah, how long a flight is that? That's probably going to be at least 6 hours. I don't do a lot of those long flights anymore just because I figure it's a little boring for everyone, but I do have a few of those coming up, and once we get over to the Americas, there's going to be a few longer ones as well, but we're going to have one to get over to America, the Americas, we're going to be flying into Canada, Montreal. We're going to be going from Iceland to Canada. That's going to be about a 6-hour flight, so I don't know if I'll pull out like GeoGuessr or something for you guys on Twitch, or what we'll do, or if I'll just step away and do household chores while we're doing that flight and pop back in and out, which is probably going to be more likely. Mindlapse lives near Seattle. Cool. 4.5 hours. Okay. I'm just thinking, like the flight from. I did a flight Milwaukee to San Francisco. I think it was Milwaukee to San Francisco. Now that I'm thinking about it, that was 6 hours. That was back when I first got X-Plane. No, I'm not Mindlapse. Originally, when I did this tour, when I started this world tour concept, I started back in X-Plane, and I did, over an X-Plane, use only the Zibo modded Boeing 737-800, because that was the only airliner I really got to know how to fly, and it was free. Basically, I was doing that in here too. I was flying just the Airbus A320, the Flybywire mod, but I have since bought the PMDG 737, so that will come in when we fly the Boeing 737. I think I've flown a few flights with the 787. there will be flights flying some smaller planes when we're bouncing around the Caribbean islands. We'll be in the Cessna 208. In fact, the last flight I just did, we flew down to Liechtenstein, and I landed in a field because that's the only place I could land there. They don't have any airports. And I flew the Cub Crafter. I've done some helicopter flights on some of these flights, flying into smaller countries like Monaco and Andorra. San Marino we did with a plane because they actually have a private airport there. So I've been doing different planes, but the majority of the flights have been the Airbus A320, and we're going to start getting that Boeing 737 involved also, trying to stick with what they fly in real life on that flight. Obviously can't do it all the time. Sometimes have to sub a different plane in because I don't have an Embraer. I just don't have every plane that exists, and I'm never going to have every plane that exists because they're not going to all come out for Flight Simulator, and I don't have that much money to do that. So 4.5 hours, about as long as it took you to clean that turtle tank. Yeah, that's typically what I used to do when I used to fly a little bit longer flights. I had some longer ones early on in this tour, where it was like some 3-hour flights, and yeah, you can get a few things done during that flight. It's a little harder when the flight's about an hour, hour and a half, because you kind of get up, especially when you're streaming, you talk a little bit, and then before you know it, you better start planning your descent and approach stuff. Now we're zoomed out to 160 nautical miles on the chart, so that's not as close as it looks, but basically we have 40 minutes left on the flight, so because I have that little blue dotted line, that kind of tells me where I got to start thinking about descending. Clearly this is a river right here. You can see kind of how the land farms and everything. It's going to be... I want to see what city that is. I wonder if that's Troyes or Troyes. Troyes? I'm guessing that's Troyes, that's the way it's said, I'm guessing. Unless that's a little further off, but it might be there right there. And then Paris will be up here, kind of behind our pylon there, I'm guessing. We're not going to fly over Paris. Bucko Fist of Fury, thanks for the follow. And thanks for the raid. What microphone? I have... Let's see what it is. It's the MXL 990. Now my room is not perfectly set up for sound, and I haven't gotten everything perfectly set up, so if it doesn't sound incredibly great, it's because I'm not super audio inclined on how to get it all the settings perfectly right, and I haven't really spent a ton of time doing that. Again, we're closing on a new house, so once I move into there and I have my own space and I can throw up some things. Yeah, it's the MXL 990. I watched I actually watched like a review of it, a comparison by a voice actor. So this is a professional who knows their microphones because that's their job. And he was comparing the MXL 990 to some, this, I think this was like about $100. So it's not cheap, but it's also not, he was comparing it to like $1,000 microphone. And again, he said, for the price, this is a really good, again, if you're not doing something really, really, really professional. And I originally bought this I bought it here and then I took it over to China because I was teaching English in China, and I started developing my own homework sets and stuff. And I was always finding the homework that a lot of the kids were doing for English class was, especially the little kids, it was literally had nothing to do with English. It was like matching a picture of something like a green apple with a green, with green, like a green color. And it's like, well, that's not actually English, because where's the English? And so I started making worksheets and stuff, and I had an audio component to it where they would listen. It was a listening exercise, and they had to circle the right word or spell the word or whatever it was. And I wanted to have, good microphone, good quality for those audio. I didn't just want to record it over my laptop, you know, speakers, little microphone or whatever. So I got a little fancy there, and now I can, obviously I've been using it for YouTube videos and streaming since as well. So we're still over France at flight level 380. I haven't heard anything. Oh, yeah, they're serving dinner, so you can see on the Pack X down there.
Swiss 332 have the Airbus A320 in sight.
I'm wondering if that's a... So X-Last Kiwi, he's another viewer over here. I don't think he's subscribed, I think he's just a follower. No pressure, X-Last Kiwi. Over there on Twitch, he's following us. He was ahead of us, and then somehow we got ahead of him on the climb. I don't see that that other A320 that ATC was talking about. Yeah, why are you so much slower? You have saving fuel? Yeah, you got ahead of me on the climb, and then I caught up, and I've got really good fuel here. Look at the fuel prediction. On landing, we'll have about 1.4 thousand kilos. Yep. So Mindlapse, the MXL 990 is a pretty, it's a pretty good microphone. It might be more than you need. So, but it is a good one. I don't know if the MXL 990 is still the one they're making, if it's still available, but yeah, there's a lot of good microphones out there. And then once you get a microphone, you can do a lot of stuff. Whatever program you're using, whether you're recording and you're using Audacity or some Adobe, whatever Adobe's is, I forget what it's called. I have it, I can't remember what it's called. You know, or if you're using OBS, you know, for streaming or recording YouTube videos, it's, you know, there's a lot of things that you can plug in to make sure that you get your levels and all that stuff. Yep, yeah, that's basically what it was when I bought it. It was like 100, 110, 90, somewhere there. So it's not the most inexpensive one, but it's a pretty good one. And it's like you could do professional level with it, but it's also not the top tier thing where you're spending $1,000 and, you know, which is what you would do if you were obviously using it for professional clients and you really want a good piece of equipment. Whoa, frame rate took a dive there. So you can see we're about halfway through the flight. Go back in here, and really cool thing that I always like to do, obviously you can check this on the internet if you want to, or it's all right there anyway. We don't need to do this because we already have it, air pressure, wind speed, all that stuff. But what I like to do is go into this menu, so MCDU menu, ATSU, AOC menu, and do the WX request. Obviously, if you do the ATIS is really useful. You're going to get this more on VATSIM, obviously, where they actually do have the ATIS. You're not going to get anything if you do it here, unfortunately. But do the weather request and get your MEDAR data. What the ATIS will have is ATIS will tell you like what runway the airport, your arrival airport's using. Yep, my sim crashed on a touchdown or taxi when we were at a Zurich in my in the X Cub, or in the Cub Crafter when I was finishing that flight. But not a big deal, not the end of the world. We had already landed, and then it just, okay, I have to restart the sim and do an intermission anyway because we have to set up the next flight. But yeah, it really sucks when it Really sucks when it crashes mid-flight. I mean, every time the sim kind of goes down to 1 frame per second and kind of freezes for a second there, I'm like, oh great, is it going to crash? And now I've lost my flight and all my setup and everything. But what the ATIS will give you is, it'll tell you the weather, it'll tell you if runways are closed, which runway they're using for takeoff and landing. That way you can plan ahead. And of course, this is going to be more used. I don't know if you actually do it through this if you're on VATSIM. VATSIM has its own client where you'll get ATIS, but unfortunately, if I would send this, it wouldn't give me anything. But we can do that. We can get a send, and we'll see what happens. All right, over here, we have a message, company message. So we go to received messages. Let's see if the ATIS gives us anything. Nope, because Microsoft Flight Simulator doesn't provide an ATIS, unfortunately. It'd be cool if they simulated that, but they don't. The second page. Oh, next message. So here's the MEDAR. And we'll print it out on the cool printer that the Airbus has. XLAS Kiwi can tell me if I'm betting that the Phoenix Airbus A320, which is payware, also has this, but it's amazing. When they put this out, when this was added in on the freeware Flybywire, people lost their minds. It's pretty cool. I do like the magic paper though. Alright, so we'll go back. Alright, so the weather, we kind of shifted into a new weather zone and the live weather had to catch up. Luckily, we did not lose a ton of speed. So if you're ever in the Airbus and that happens, where you jump into a new weather zone, the weather and the pressure changes, and your speed might drop down so low that it knocks off the autopilot. If that happens, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to descend, get some speed, get to where you can do autopilot, and you just have to climb back to your cruise altitude. I've had that happen a few times, and I'm like, what happened? And I forget that. It's like, well, if you knock yourself, sometimes that weather can screw... Because this plane is so sensitive, this fly-by-wire, that the systems they're putting in are so sensitive, they haven't tweaked them perfectly yet, that it can, just a little tweak in the weather can really knock the systems all goofy, and then suddenly your autopilot's off, you've lost, your speed's all wrong. Let's see. Drink the coffee next to the tablet. Yeah, for some reason all these cups are chrome now, which is annoying. I think that's a conflict with my texture pack that I have overlaying the Airbus A320, which gives this kind of grime on the scratches and grime on the buttons, and pretty cool. Alright, so I'm guessing, yep, Paris is going to be just over there. Let's see if we can... I don't think we're going to be able to see it. A little bit too far off. I'm guessing it's just that area right there. That's Paris. Alright, so we're coming up on that descent point. What I wanted to do is go in here and do our approach phase. We want to set up this information. So first thing it's asking is for the QNH. That's our pressure. It's going to be Q. And in Europe and most of the world, it's just going to be Q. And then it's going to be in the... what is that called? It's going to be in is it hectopascals? Whatever. But it's going to be in that. So it's going to be like a 1.0 or 0.9, depending on your pressure. And we throw that in, it's going to be 1021. Now in the United States, they use the inches of mercury, and so it's going to be more of a 3.0 or a 2.9. Like standard is 29.92, and usually you'll say, I think you'll say Q and then 2992 and then A, or it might just say 2992 and then A, no Q. So that's the difference. But obviously here we are in Europe, so we're going to have this. So whoop, I already did that. 1021. Again, it popped down. Now here you can see we lost a bunch of speed. But we didn't go down below minimum, so we're fine. It's just because the pressure and stuff is changing, because we keep moving into new weather zones, and it's not always smooth. Okay, what did they send us? Paris Center. Okay. I was expecting to crash, but it's not right there. Are you on VATSIM? I'm not on VATSIM right now. I think I'm gonna work on doing VATSIM once I move into the new house and I'm got my own space and I can kind of focus on it. And like right now, there's a lot of interruptions. There's too many people within the house where I'm at right now, and I just need to set that up. And I typically don't do VATSIM just because I'm not great at it, and also because most of the time when I'm flying and where I'm flying, there's no coverage anyway, so I'd rather just have the AI traffic. I use Alpha India Group traffic. It's really good. And the in-game ATC is hit or miss. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Right now it's kind of broken. I'm only getting my side of the conversation. I'm not hearing them talk to other planes. But,
Swiss 332 have the traffic.
you know, see, it just said, you know, I don't even know what, there's the traffic, but coming up on the English channel. Probably once we get to the English channel, we'll start descending. Anyway, let's see. Oh, so that's what that's called. I don't know what you're referring to. Sorry, I'm a little behind on the messages. Doesn't seem that you can print it. Oh, you can't print it on that. Oh no. Well, there's the problem. Well, the Phoenix, I would think they would still have the printer because that is the difference. A lot of people forget this, is that the Phoenix A320 is the current engine option, and the Flybywire is the Neo, it's the new engine option, and it's a mod of the plane that came with Microsoft Flight Simulator. So they are slightly different, probably just more in the engines. I don't know how much changed inside the cockpit. Let's see. Hectopascals, yeah. Hector. Did I say hectopascals or something? Yeah, it's something hecta, something like that. Oh, it's on the tablet. Yeah, well, we have it on the tablet here too, and that's the thing. I don't really need to print it out. I think these are all the same. They might even update. That might have updated actually. I think it was 300 before. So we'll compare. We'll compare once I go back over there. Yeah, the in-game ATC is, yeah, it's disappointing. It's a little bit better than X-Plane sometimes.
Going to 126.475 Swiss
Yeah.
332.
Alright, so now saying enter destination data, that's what we're doing.
332, flight level
Temperature
320.
18, so that's the same as on the tablet. The wind, 300 at 3 knots. So I'm thinking the tablet updates it automatically. I don't know. Let's check. Actually, we can check. So this is from today. This is July 3rd, 22:50 Zulu
Swiss
time.
332 have the Bombardier CRJ900
And over here,
in sight.
this is from 22:20 Zulu time. So actually, this is more up to. Whoops. How do I just want to look at this. This one is half an hour more up to date. So our metadata is a little bit out of date now that we printed out. But we'll go off of this and we'll kind of double check it. So I'm going to put in that 310 at 4 knots because that is updated on the tablet. That's all we needed. Everything else is the same. Transition altitude, I believe, is it 10,000? It's 18,000 for the US. I believe it's 10,000 for England. Let's see, 6,000. Okay. Our approach speed is going to be 130 knots, landing speed 125. Our minimum on this landing. Now I will pull up my chart to show you what I'm looking at. If I can find it. There it is. So I'm looking at this chart right here. Got it overlaid. So we're going to come in and we're going to do this little loop that just gives us time to get, you know, for spacing and all that. We're doing the ILS 109.5 India Lima Lima, 269 degrees. Approach, runway 27 left. And for the minimums, we're looking right here. So I always like to put in the higher minimum. So I'm going to do the Cat 2. I believe Cat 3 means it's completely clear day. I think the higher the category, like Cat 1, means it's hard to see. So obviously you want that higher minimum. I think that's how it works. Might be the other way around. So I usually put in just the highest minimum, so I make my decision earlier. We'll put that in barometer right there. So we need to be at 2,500 feet to capture the glide slope. We'll have plenty of time to do that. We're going to be at 7,000 right here, and then we'll descend as we come in. Unless they cut us off, and then, well, then we have to descend a little quicker. One thing I like to do is I always like to put in the VOR for the airport as a backup. Put that there. Of course, 269. That doesn't actually work for that because it's over there, so yeah. So I won't even put the course in. Our ILS is automatically filled in on this plane. And we're coming up on the channel. Right there in front of us, I believe. That's going to be...
Swiss 332.
I thought that was going to be Con.
A319 in sight.
Con's is way over. Never mind. Right in front of us is Abbeville. And so off to our right is going to be Calais, and then Dover is going to be over there. So we're crossing about probably the narrowest, near the narrowest part of the channel. I keep ignoring what ATC is saying. Let's see. Oh my goodness, I'm so far behind. Let's see. Catch up. They haven't given us a descent yet. Hit the Pascal, thank you. That's why I joined VATSIM. Yep, VATSIM. I do like VATSIM, the concept. I love listening to people on VATSIM, and it's always, but it is a little intimidating. But I know once I get into it and do it, you know, it'll be just like, you know, starting these planes. Once you do it enough times, all this is just second nature. So, I mean, the few times I've done it, I did it once where I had it on. I was flying to Nairobi.
Flight level 300, Swiss 332.
All right, we're going to begin our descent to flight level 300. Seatbelt signs on. I was flying into Nairobi, Kenya, and Nairobi approach came on just as I was approaching. So that was cool, but it was also like, whoa, I wasn't expecting this. Heavy accent. I don't know if the guy was actually from Kenya, but definitely sounded like he was. Heavy accent to his English, but you know, partly I'm bad at listening, and there was that accent. But we got on the ground. I think I only had to do a little bit of an adjustment because I was late on the descent, and so he vectored me around or whatever, and we got in just fine. My tablet has more features because I updated. Do you use Flybywire? If you're using, well, I'm assuming you do because I don't think the Airbus A320 the default has the tablet. I believe, I don't know if the stable version of this has the updated tablet. It's going to be the development version or the experimental. I'm using development. The developmental version is really the most stable actually because it's constantly getting updated. Whereas the stable version kind of sits there, so it's not getting the latest fixes, but it is, you know, relatively stable. So if you want the most features and stability, development is the one you want to go with. I've never had much luck with the experimental version, unfortunately. Let's see. Alright, XSQ is going to overtake me on approach. You're not flying the wiggles. Yeah, I'm just going to fly. I'm going to follow it. Things I do not need to worry about because it is automatically doing the VOR. Really? It automatically fills in the VOR? That's cool. Well, I have to go eat because I did not eat since breakfast. You have an amazing rest of your stream and a great thank you, Falco. Thanks for the raid, and hopefully I'll keep an eye out for if I'm streaming and you're still streaming, I'm ending, I'll come over and raid you, and yeah, we'll help each other grow our channels. Yep. Yeah, and hopefully at some point I'll probably do some more dedicated VATSIM flights where it's like, okay, I'm going to go here because the VATSIM is active. Like the only other experience I had with VATSIM really was there was a Berlin event going on, and there was a Zurich event going on, I think, or Geneva event. And there was coverage the whole way between the two. The problem is there was so much traffic taking off from Berlin, and then so much traffic landing that it was like, oh, it's going to be like a 3-hour, you're going to have to like hold for 3 hours. So I'm like, nope, I don't have time for this. I can't do that. I just cannot do that. It's like I can get my flights in, so I typically don't like to do a lot of holding or going around if I can help it, because my wife is, my baby times it up perfectly. He always needs a diaper change as I'm coming in on short final. Like I'm just about to land, it's like, oh, diaper change. And I'm like, I gotta land here. Yeah, if you use Mindlapse, if you use development, you'll get that the updated. They just overhauled the whole panel. All right, what happened here?
Descend and maintain flight level 180 Swiss 332.
Descend and maintain flight level 180 Swiss 332. Hey, Hendrik. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to do the next flight. Or at least there's going to be a little bit of a break. So on Twitch we'll go raid someone, but might be back on later. Maybe just do like a fun like propeller flight somewhere, single engine, because it's almost, by the time we get landed it'll be close to 7 o'clock or whatever, and see what's going on for dinner. Or at least take a little bit of a break, and then maybe we'll get back on, like I said.
118.475 Swiss 332. London Center Swiss 332 is at flight level 280, descending flight level 180.
So yeah, Hendrik just came in towards the end of this flight. We're crossing the English Channel right now, descending into England, and we'll be landing at London within the next half hour, hopefully. I mean, our expected arrival on PAC-X is 28 minutes. So, for the passengers' sake, and them not getting grumpy at me, hopefully we'll be landed within that time. Speaking of the passengers, we can take a look and see how they're doing. You can see the planes coming towards us. I always mix up my green and reds. See the passengers, and what I do like about the PAC-X, I like self-loading cargo a little bit more, but what I like about PAC-X is the names. He's got the names set up to be regionally accurate. So if you're flying in Asia, you're going to get a lot more Asian names. You can see here we got, a mix of German and English names because we're flying between Switzerland and England. You'll always get a mix. You'll get some randoms, obviously, because there's always travelers outside the region too. But so I always like that. Joachim Steinman. Oh, do they have a, like, built into Phoenix? Do they have like a passenger thing? Like the Flybywire's got passengers too now. That's what I was doing earlier, like this ATSU weights and balances. So does the PMDG. You load on the passengers. Obviously, this loads more realistically than PAC-X, and I think self-loading cargo they also load in properly, like load from the back to the front, whereas PAC-X they just kind of randomly come in. But yeah, it's like again, I got PAC-X and X back with X-Plane. I got PAC-X and self-loading cargo, just trying to find something to give me some more stuff to do. And now I find that it's just this too much stuff to do for some reason. I think it's because I'm streaming and so that I'm talking to you guys. And this one is PAC-X, and you can see on the bottom it's got a little so this mod is PAC-X. You're on YouTube, so I do have a link to it, I believe, in the description. Yep. And then there's self-loading cargo. The problem with self-loading cargo and Microsoft Flight Simulator is they don't work together perfectly right now. He's still working on that. Planes with solar panels. Did I miss something? What are you getting at, Hendrik? Planes with solar panels. I'm sure they will have planes with solar panels at some point. I mean, you might as well. Or at least supply some power or do something. Yeah, I don't know. You were thinking it. Well, I know that one, that flying hotel that they're talking about. There's that just jumbo plane that is being proposed. It's gonna be a flying hotel. It's not gonna land. It's gonna could fly around for like a year or whatever without having to land because it's got nuclear power or something. I saw someone say it's like, oh, this is the future of air travel. I'm like, is that really the future of air travel? I mean, most air travel is getting people from point A to point B, not just flying around in circles and having a casino flying in the air or whatever. Whatever it's supposed to be, like a cruise ship. You know, typically most people are trying to get from point A to point B as quickly as possible. Did you send that on, I guess you sent that, yeah, there it is. Oh, okay. Yeah, I really like that. I wish... I'm very surprised that the PMDG 737, they haven't implemented the pad yet. Yeah, I like that. I wish... I've never had a plane... I've never yet experienced a plane where they've had, like, the fly pad cover all that. Oh, you mean like the passengers aren't modeled, like visually? Yeah. Typically, when they model the passengers, they're creepy looking, crazy people anyway, so. Yeah, you have a pregnant lady on board? Yeah, PAC-X does that too. Well, they don't... It doesn't tell me if there is, like, on their information, it doesn't tell me that. And that's why, like, Self-Flying Cargo tells me a little bit more, like, tells you how much their checked baggage is and all that. But you do get events like, you know, unruly passengers, you'll get, you know, a woman going to labor or a medical emergency or whatever with PAC-X. And I think might be stuff like that with Self-Flying Cargo as well. So we're getting some kind of hang-ups here as we come into London. Obviously a lot of stuff going on in London. We're going to have a lot of planes. So hopefully we don't lose everything. Seatbelt signs are on. Yep, there we go. Here's another freeze as it's loading stuff in. Wish it didn't have to do that. We get the really cool... Oh man, I've never had it this bad before. I've landed in London before. Done it before. Is that Gatwick right over there? That's probably what it is too. It's loading in Gatwick. And a lot of stuff to load in there.
Swiss 332 have the Airbus A319 in sight.
Hey, you.
Going to 1 tree for decimal 9 or 8 Swiss 332. Heathrow approach Swiss 332 is at 11,300 feet, descending 8,000 feet.
Mm.
118.475 Swiss 332. London Center Swiss 332 is at 10,800 feet, descending 8,000 feet. Going to 1 tree for decimal 9 or 8 Swiss 332.
Hello.
Heathrow approach Swiss 332 is passing 10,700 feet, descending 8,000 feet.
We have begun our final descent into London Heathrow. Flight attendants will be passengers and cabins to collect any trash one final time. Please ensure three tables are stowed and seats are in the full upright position. Please also store any carry-on items either in the back pocket or under the seat attendant's seat. Please complete all Wi-Fi related tasks and stow any larger electronics.
This always worries me when I see this. Just want to check this. Okay, that's right. It's just giving us that loop. Alright, so... Oh, I hate it when it does this. I kind of want to slow down here because we're still pretty high up. See, the problem with the in-game ATC is they don't tell you where you're landing until you've already missed your approach. Well, not all the time. Sometimes they'll tell you at 20,000 feet, oh, you're coming in on this star and you're coming in this runway. But yeah, I'm not doing it right now. So we're gonna have this little loop, which will give us time to hopefully get to the right point. We probably should have stopped at that hold point and descended a little bit. I'm gonna throw out the ground spoilers a little, or the spoilers a little bit. See downtown London, or the city of London, technically.
Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect ILS runway 27 right approach via Echo Papa Mike transition. Clear to Echo Papa Mike Swiss Tree 2.
I got 27 left.
Heathrow approach Swiss Tree 2. Would prefer runway 27 left. Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect ILS runway 27 right approach via Echo Papa Mike transition. Sidestep runway 27 left. Clear to Echo Papa Mike Swiss Tree 2.
I have no idea where Echo Papa Mike is. I'm not going to throw that in. We're just going to... Obviously, again, it's... I've kind of learned to not follow what the in-game ATC says this late. It's just going to... It just screws you up. Ooh. Yeah, this approach is... Like, I came in once, the last time I came in to Heathrow, it was cloudy and evening, so you had all the lights coming on. It was not as bad as this, so I don't know what's going on. Why it's having such a hard time loading. I mean, it's obviously it's loading in all those buildings and everything. So you're dealing with your internet, you're dealing with your graphics, all that kind of working together, trying to survive. So we might end up doing an auto landing here, just because if it's like this, it's very hard to land manually. Okay, we're at 3,000 feet. Awesome. Oops. Over speed on that. Oh. Keep getting our speed down. Yeah, so this is gonna be the last, or not the last flight of the night, but for sure. But we're gonna take end the stream on Twitch and YouTube, obviously, and do some dinner, probably practice some parking with my wife, and obviously spend some more time with the little boy. He's getting a little restless back there, but it's kind of hard to land with him reaching for everything. Yeah, you can see the O2 Arena, or Wembley over there. You can see downtown, so the City of London. Kind of hard to make out which buildings are which, but... Alright, once we make this turn, I want to watch that diamond, but it's not a big deal that we're not down to 2500 because we'll just capture it as we cross it once we hit the approach here, which I will do once we make the turn. Ground spoilers are armed, flaps are full, seatbelt signs are on, landing lights are on. Frame rate is balanced, kind of leveling out. For some reason, we're not really loading in much of London over here. That is the problem with the photogrammetry coming in from the cloud, is that sometimes just can't load it all in. Okay, there's Heathrow right in front of us. I believe Windsor Castle's right on the other side of Heathrow, if I'm not mistaken, which I find kind of hilarious that a lot of the traffic taking off. I mean, we're coming in 27 left. They're gonna be taking off 27 left, 27 right over Windsor.
Tower, Swiss Tree, 3212 miles east inbound, ILS runway,
right. Approach.
27 right approach, sidestep runway, 27 left.
Put both our autopilots on. We got a Cat 3 dual.
Cleared to land runway, 27 left, number 2, Swiss Tree, Tree 2.
So Cat 3 landing, our decision height is actually 50 feet. We're going to make that decision at 277, but we can actually wait until 50 because we can see and glide slope is captured, localizer is also captured. Speed 130, that's our approach. Part of me just wants to let it auto land so I get a decent landing rate for once. It's been so long since I've had a good
2,500.
Cabin check. If I do an auto landing, I can do the interior as we're landing. I could also. I don't have my replay thing turned on right now, so probably wouldn't be Wouldn't be able to get the land. But I could do that. We'll just do an auto landing here. Because I'm thinking my frame rate's gonna kind of dive as we come in. So we'll get a butter landing. The plane will give us a butter landing. It is. Oh, it's because usually that's how we see landings. Let me put the auto brake on. I always forget that. Now it should be giving me a
500.
auto land pretty soon here. Doing the auto land.
100 above.
Random floating plane over there.
Todd.
What happened to my slats? That's weird. I was trying to do the reversers and it was saying my slats weren't in the right position, which makes no sense.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to London Heathrow. The local time is 12:42 p.m. and it's currently about 70 degrees Celsius. You can now use
Did you say 70 degrees Celsius? I think 70 degrees Fahrenheit would make sense. Oh, 17. Okay. It's like, woof. Alright, we're gonna stop right here for a second. Get our, get all of our clearances and everything. So tune ground. And we will request taxi to
Heathrow
parking.
ground, Swiss Tree 2 taxi to parking. Taxiing to general aviation parking using taxiway November 6 Echo Lima Tree 6 Foxtrot Golf Swiss Tree 2.
Okay, I guess we choose where we want to park. Not sure where we would park, so I'm thinking we're gonna go in. We'll go over here today. I've been in. Usually I go over there. Maybe we'll go over there. We'll go over to terminal. Yeah, see, I don't know which terminals are. Well, those are. Yeah, we'll go to close over here. We'll go wherever, whatever's closest. So we're gonna. Whoop, wrong one. Start the APU. Turn off the landing lights. Go to taxi, strobe to auto. TCAS off. We're gonna standby. You're at Terminal 5B. Alright, I'll go over there. So we got the APU starting up. Turn off the flight directors. Next world tour stream will probably be tomorrow. Right now I can't give you an exact time what I'd like to do, but I think it'll be tomorrow. And we'll be flying down to Gibraltar and then possibly flying right back to Gatwick. But I might throw in a different flight if I plan it. I mean, that's the whole thing right now. It's like, okay, what's planned? What do I have already set up, ready to go? My world tour flights, they're set up and ready to go. I know what I'm doing next. I'm kind of doing the random ones a little bit harder. We're going to go out to the far end over here and see if there's any spots. There's a lot of British Airways over here, so maybe we should have stayed on this side. Maybe they're going to look at us and go, why are you over here? You should go by Eurowings and Air Canada. Come over here, Terminal 5B. This big one is Terminal 5A. APU is available. We'll hit the bleed once we are ready to shut down the engines. Yeah, these are all British Airways over here. Thanks everyone for coming in for the stream. Wish I could do some more tonight, but gotta help take care of the baby. So maybe later I'll hop back on and do like just a short, single engine flight. Yep, this is Alpha India Group traffic. Again, it's download link in the description below. And yeah, it's all AI traffic. It's based on real schedules that you download. So, a lot better than just using the real traffic. And it also has all the liveries and models for the right planes and stuff. So, it's pretty cool. Definitely, I think a must-have. It's free, and I think it's definitely a must-have if you're going to be doing flying offline. And you want to have your airports a little populated with the right planes. Okay, we're gonna crunch right over this we'll just go where the tug is. I think we might be hiding some lines. Parking brake set. Clear those flaps. Clear the ground spoilers. Turn on the APU bleed. Should turn off our taxi lights as we're coming in. And bring down the engines. Alright, X-Class Kiwi. That'd be fun, somewhere in Scotland. Yeah, there's so many places to fly, that's the thing. What do you want to see, you know? Alright, back in the plane, we can turn off the beacon light. Do have the APU going. Let's call over the external power. Services. Ground power unit. Bring over the jet bridge. Bring out the baggage truck and all that fun stuff. Don't have to do the catering right away. Guess the wheel chocks came on automatically. Yep, there they are. And we can turn off the seatbelt sign. You can hear the passengers starting to deboard. And you can also, if you don't have PAC-X or something and you want to simulate your passengers deboarding, you can also do it right here. Weights and balances. Just put in 0 right there. And then start boarding. Technically deboarding, the payload will start going down, all that. Yeah, there's nothing like having a really good looking airport and all the planes, or most of the planes, sitting there actually, and have some movement. Got a bunch of planes coming in. That's always great. Some of them might be multiplayer, I'm guessing. So yeah, thanks for coming in. If you haven't already subscribed on YouTube, please do that. It's free to do, and the same with following here on Twitch. And if you feel so inclined and you want to drop a subscription on Twitch, that helps out, and put that money towards planes or upgrading equipment and all that stuff. Right, before we leave, let's check out the flight and see what my landing rate and all that was. Bring up Atlanta over here. See our route. The plane didn't love that little loop there, but we got in. Let's see, landing rate over here. Okay, why don't I have a... Can I end this flight? There we go. Landing rate, negative 9.61? Are you kidding me? Oh, I'm guessing it's... For some reason, it's attaching this flight to it. That's weird. That's a little messed up. Because the actual landing rate was negative 185. And that's because I let the plane land itself, just so we could get that view, and because it was a little sketchy with the frame rate. Yeah, because I think it added these two flights together for some reason. Not a big deal. Alright, and we will just jump over here to world map one more time before we sign off for, at least for the world tour part of the stream. And if you're on Twitch, let me know who you should, if you have someone wanna raid right now. Otherwise, I'll pick someone. Man, oh my goodness. Alright, so there's the map of the world. And obviously we just flew back into London. And next world tour flight, hopefully we'll get it in tomorrow. For sure, hopefully. For sure on a Tuesday if we don't do anything tomorrow. We'll be flying down to Gibraltar. Wow, that sounded really good. Wow. What was that? That was a very awesome engine sound. Look at all those planes coming in over there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Got one taken off. Who's this? Looks like an Air Italia from this distance. Should do Heathrow to UK11 Roughworth. There are so many places I could do, right? Yep, Air Italia. A little bit out of date. Yeah, there you go. We got Heathrow. Looking really good. Lots of planes coming in. You can see City of London in the distance. Alright, so if you're on Twitch, hang around. We're gonna go raid. Let's see who we can raid. Let's go raid 757 Spy. He's on right now. See what he's doing. Alright. Well, everyone on YouTube and Twitch, thanks for coming in. Just keep an eye out, and be streaming sometime tomorrow. Maybe maybe starting before noon my time. We'll see. And at some point we'll get on a little bit more of a schedule. Thanks for coming by. Until next time, take care. Happy flying.